Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Rama Krishna. Hello friends, let us talk about Capricorn Lagna today. So as we have been following this format of understanding all the qualities of a particular Lagna, today we are in the series of the 10th Rashi in the Kalpurush Kundali, which is Makar, Capricorn. We have been following this format of studying each and every quality of the ascendant. First, we'll see what the Rashi qualities are. Then we see the relationship of Lagnesh with all the bhavas. Who are the friends? Who are the enemies? How does the friends bless him? How does the enemy give troubles? What signs are the Lagna's exaltation? And which sign is the Lagna's debilitation? And based on the exaltation and debilitation sign, what we can understand. What planets are exalted in the Lagna? What planets are debilitated in the Lagna? And based on this exaltation and debilitation, what qualities are inherently given to Capricorn people? Bhaves exalted, not just Lagna and Lagnesh, but the other house lords. They are exalted and debilitated in various houses. Just by being there in the exaltation, just by being a particular Bhava Lord, they are looking towards their exaltation and they are avoiding their debilitation. Based on this, what judgment we can make out of it? Kal Purush. And finally, all these houses with respect to the Kal Purush Kundali. That also gives a fair judgment about all the qualities of the Capricorn Lagna. Let's dive deep into it. And then finally, all the houses. Because if Capricorn is the first house, then Aquarius becomes the second house, Pisces becomes the third. And when Pisces is the third, or the Aquarius is second, then just by being that particular house, what qualities you can expect? Again, all these results are from the classics. I'm just trying to decipher, decode it based on these framework of questions. First of all, the symbol. The symbol of Capricorn is half deer and half crocodile. The first half of the Rashi is a deer, and the next half is a crocodile. This symbol would give a fair amount of information about this ascendant. First of all, the face. The face is thin, like a deer. The protruding chin. The protruding chin comes because of the deer's face. Dark hair comes from the lord of this sign, Saturn. He rules over the Saturn. He rules over the nails and hair. Plain eyes. Weak knees. Weak knees because Jupiter is debilitated in this sign. It's a 10th house. And Jupiter, the loss of Sattva Guna in this house, gives a weakness. That's why the weak knees. Also, weak knees is because of the strong Vayu dosha. Middle to tall stature. Predominance of Tamas Guna. The lord of this sign is Saturn, and Mars is exalted over here. Mars is Tamoguna, Saturn is Tamoguna. So there is predominance of Tamoguna in this ascendant. That gives him a middle to tall stature. lean and slender physique. The Vayu Tattva, aggravated Vayu Tattva, gives him a shushk, uh, a basically emaciated or slender physique. But being the earthy sign, there is a muscle, but they are not very corpulent. Saturn gives them a slender figure, and the inherent quality of the Rashi of being earth will make him muscular but lean, adaptable. So the Rashi symbol is deer with crocodile body. Deer is the terrestrial animal, and Makara, crocodile, is aquatic. By the combination of these two, we can say that these people, they are very adaptable, because the combined figure, it can live outside as well as it can live in the water also. Tactful. It's a tactful Rashi because of Mars. Mars is very tactful in nature. He's the commander in chief in the ministry of the royal, in the king's palace. He's the commander in chief. He's very tactful. And Mars being exalted in the sign makes him very tactful. Tenacity. Tenacity is the quality of clinging to something till it's complete, till its completion. As the Rashi symbol is the crocodile, you can see that if a crocodile catch hold of somebody's legs, even if you cut his head, he will not leave that leg. That gives the tenacity, lot of tenacity to these ascendants. Pragmatism. Pragmatism is the quality of Saturn, a good quality of Saturn. But if Saturn is afflicted, it will give lot of pessimism. Elevated nose, like the deer, or these chatushpad animals who have a prominent and protruding nose. So you can see a sort of protrusion in the nose of these people. Age group. Now we assign certain age group to these people, right from Aries till Pisces, in the gap of 5 years. So first 5 years belong to Aries, second 5 years belongs to Taurus. So from 5 to 10 age belongs to Taurus, and then likewise if you assign 5 years, we come to Capricorn, and then the range becomes 45 to 50. This is the time when somebody is winding up his career. He is almost at the peak of the career, and at this point of time, he is basically more interested in giving a consistent growth, holding on to that position that he is, making the results more reproducible. Collaboration, teamwork, all these becomes the priority of life. Steadiness. He wants steady source of income, steady career. He's not looking for a much jump in the career. He just want to maintain the status quo. He is very tactful during this time, methodical. Tactful and methodical would make the results very reproducible, making his projects deliver in time and always. Self-restraint. So in this time, generally people, they they start some kind of fasting and some ways of restraining themselves from overindulging into things for health reasons, for spirituality, or for some X amount of reason. But this is the age in which people start experiencing start their tendency towards self-restraining, patient. These qualities come from the Saturn, but usually you see the people of 45 to 50 compared to earlier ages, they are more patient, they are more thoughtful. Capricorn, the ruler is Saturn, and Saturn is exalted in Libra, in the house of Venus. Just by Saturn being exalted, which happens to be the 10th house. And this 10th house exaltation means that these people, they are very excited for the 10th house. Now, what does 10th house means? The exaltation of 10th house means action. What action? They are very action oriented people. Honor. Your honor in the society is denoted by the 10th house. Whatever they do, their aim is to get honor in the society. Autonomy. It's a sign of leadership. They want authority over things. They don't want to be guided by others. They want autonomy in whatever they want to do. Power. 10th house is for power. They want power in the area that they are leading. They want to guide people. They want to lead people. They don't want to be led. Basically, their whole tendency is toward to getting the power. Heroism. 10th house is for heroism. It is the house of karma. It is the house of action. So such people, they deploy themselves for a heroic kind of deed so that they get honor in the society, they get known in the society. Serve the king. So 10th house is for the king. And Lagna Lord exalted over there means they like to serve the king, or they are in the service of the king. In the modern context, it would mean that they like to work for the government, because government gives, like compared to the private industries, the government jobs give more power to the person, more authority, more honor to the person. That's why they like to work for the government. Second lord exalted in the 10th house. So Saturn not only is the Lagna lord, he is the lord of second house also. And he's exalted in the 10th house, which is the earth trikona. That makes them very wealthy. One of the earth trikona lord exalted in the other earth trikona makes the person wealthy. Splendorous. They look very splendorous because the Lagna lord, the Lagna lord, which is supposed to signify their own body, their own self, it is exalted in the house of Venus. And Venus gives a lot of splendor, a different kind of charisma to the person. So if Venus is really good and Saturn is well placed, then the person is very splendorous. Now let's look at what is the debilitation. So Saturn is debilitated in Aries, which happens to be the fourth house. Now what does the fourth house indicate? First of all, debilitation means these are the areas the person avoids. These are the areas that person doesn't want to work on. Fourth house is the home. If you give him work from home, he will not like it. It is very difficult for him to work, to stay at home. He is not very comfortable. Fourth house is for comfort, and Lagna Lord in the fourth house, debilitation, would mean that they are in general not comfortable. Like a sudden sense of a subtle sense of unease is always there in their mind. Difficulty building real estate. So fourth house is for house, real estate, and debilitation of Lagna Lord in the house of real estate would mean that this is something This is the area that they struggle with difficulty in building the real estate, difficulty achieving the luxury. Fourth house is for the luxury also. They find it very difficult to attain the luxury. Now, Capricorn qualities. Capricorn is a movable sign, it's a Chara Rashi, and it is even. So we have to combine the movable energy, the action orientedness with the even quality. Even is feminine, it is more intrinsic, it is more collaborative. So the action oriented 10th house is the natural 10th house of action. But that action is not like a male kind of go and do get getter. That not the kind of action that these people have. They are very collaborative, like team building. They will keep everyone in the loop. Whatever action they take, there is a lot of steadiness and pragmatism in it, such that those actions that they take, it is reproducible. It can be done by others. It can be done with the help of other people. So there is collaborativeness in their actions. Dosha. For the Ayurvedic dosha, these people, you have to look at the Lagna Lord. Lagna Lord rules over the Vayu Tattva. So Vayu is very strong for them. Mars, which is the strong Agni, it is exalted in the Lagna. As we know, fire and air, they are two good friends. When fire comes, the air aggravates further. That basically increases a lot of air in the person, making him, basically the dosha will be related to Vayu. A lot of Vayu Tattva is there. And to manage that Vayu Tattva, when these people go to the massage parlor, they feel really very relaxed. Because when massage is done with the oil reduces the Vayu. Increase in Vayu basically makes them physically very uncomfortable. It gives pain in the body, in the joints. But when that oil drop, it is polished on their body, it gets sucked by the tissues, and the Vayu element is pacified, giving them very comfort. So they like to go to spa and massage parlors for this reason. They are usually very thirsty because of Mangal's exaltation, the Agni is high, so they feel very thirsty at times. Like it is very difficult for these people to fast without water. Okay. This is for, like, if you are a woman and you are a Capricorn, then it's difficult to a Nirjala Upavas. And if you are a man, you always keep one bottle beside you, just in case you feel thirsty. That you always feel. Naisargik Kundali in the Kal Purush Kundali, Capricorn happens to be the 10th house, and it is lorded by Saturn. Just by being the 10th house of Kal Purush and being lorded by Saturn, what all qualities we can expect from them. So you see, lot of theme is around the 10th house. First of all, why? Because the Lagna Lord is exalted in the 10th house, and second, it is the natural 10th house of the Kal Purush Kundali. That gives them a lot of action orientedness. They undertake things, they believe in achievement, they are very action oriented, they like to succeed, they like autonomy, power, authority. Saturn gives them a high focus on the family, because Saturn is not only Lagna Lord, it is the Lord of the second house. Second house happens to be family. So they are very family oriented people. They like to give time to their family. Family carries an importance to them. Second house is also for saving. They always like to, their intention is to save. Okay. They are well intended. They plan very good for saving. Whether they save or not, that's a different question. But their intention is to, they care for saving. Lean physique, as Saturn's Vayu will make the person emaciated. So they have a lean physique. But the Earth of Saturn, Earth of Capricorn, will give him some muscles. Saturn is the Karaka of 6th, 8th, and 12th house, all the Dusthanas. So the person will succeed only after undertaking a lot of pain. All the 6, 8, 12 things would be there. There would be suddenness, there would be calamities in the life, there would be a lot of hard work, there would be losses, and only then you will succeed, because Saturn doesn't give you success just like that. He's the Lagna Lord. Lagna Lord gives you fame, but after fulfilling all the agenda of 6, 8, and 12. Negative qualities of Saturn would also be there, especially when Saturn is badly placed. If Saturn is debilitated in the Dusthana, he will give you laziness, pessimism, he'll make you melancholic, it will make you conservative and miserly. The positive qualities of Saturn is it can make you perfectionist. Being perfectionist, you'll be very critical to others, the way they work. You'll be very critical in pointing out their problems. It will make you very slow and steady. That's a quality of Saturn. Now the friendship. So Saturn is friends with all these Asura planets, Venus, Mercury and Rahu. Out of which Venus and Rahu, they are mutual friends to Saturn, but Mercury considers him neutral. Mercury is like a child and Saturn is like the old age person. In a family, you see the old age person, he will love the kid a lot, but kid will be kind of oblivious to him. Like, you can't say that, he'll be sort of neutral to him. Okay, but the old age person, he will love him. So that's the relation between Saturn and Mercury. When it comes to Venus and Rahu, so Venus is like a dancer, and Saturn is the hoi polloi. He's the common public. Common public, they will throw money at the dancer, and dancer would also require the common public to sustain their life. So they have a mutual friendship. Rahu is the outcast. Now, who is the neutral? Saturn is neutral to Jupiter, and Jupiter is also mutually neutral. They are mutually neutral to each other. Why? Saturn represents somebody who's doing a lot of upavas, a lot of self-restraint to achieve the knowledge. It is the path of yoga. He will sit in meditation for 6, 7, 8 hours. Jupiter is like a Gyan yogi. They both will basically be neutral to each other. They consider that their path is superior, but they don't consider the other person to be enemy. They just think that they both are on separate paths. That's where they become neutral to each other. Then who are the enemies? Saturn is inimical to Ketu, Sun, Mars and Moon, out of which Ketu considers him as a friend. Sun is mutually inimical. So Saturn and Sun, they both are mutually inimical. But Moon and Mars, they consider him neutral. The Sun is like a light. The maximum light in the zodiac is in the Leo sign. And Saturn is like the darkness. The maximum darkness, if at all anywhere is there, it is there in Aquarius. And that is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is the darkness, Sun is the light. So they both are inimical to each other. Saturn and Moon. Saturn is like a poison and Moon is the mind. In fact, Saturn Moon, if they are together, it is called the Vish Yoga, not the English wish. It's a Hindi wish, which means the poison yoga. Saturn is like a yogi, and Ketu is like the Jivan Mukta. Saturn believes in lot of hardships in attaining knowledge, and Ketu is the Jivan Mukta. He's like the person who has realized what is moksha, what is the universe, and then he's Jivan Mukta. He's free from the bondage just by knowing that bondage as well as attachment, bondage as well as the release from the bondage, they both are illusion. So there is no need of this kind of hardship. So he will laugh at Saturn. Okay. In fact, it may so happen that before becoming Ketu, he was Saturn. He may have worked for so many years, just like Buddha. This is the story of realization of Buddha. Buddha, for 7 years, he did all kinds of fast, all sort of meditation, all sorts of yoga, various asanas. After all those meditations, during that meditation time, he was like Saturn. And then when he realized that there is no bondage and there is no release from bondage, then he became Ketu, like a Jivan Mukta. So when he became Ketu, he didn't consider Saturn to be enemy because he knew that Saturn is on the right path. After some time, he'll become Ketu. But Saturn will consider him as enemy because Saturn, yogi, the path of yogi, they have a separate, different kind of ego. They will think that if I am following so and so yoga, then this Ketu is actually on the wrong path. He is path brushed. He is not following the right dharma. That's why he will think Ketu as the enemy, but Ketu will not consider him as the enemy. Okay, then Saturn and Mars. So Saturn is like a common public, and Mars is like the police. So Saturn considers Mars as the enemy. Why? Because police have a different kind of relations with the public. Okay. Common public, they fear the policeman, even though they are for their service. Now, what planets are exalted in the Lagna? All the good qualities of that planet will be there naturally in the person. Mars is exalted. Mars is very fearless planet, and he's also very fierce. So these people will be very fearless. If they are pushed to war, they will kill the person. They are very fierce also. Mars fierceness will come to these people. Mars in the natural Kalpurush Kundali is the lord of 8th house. He is the 8th lord, exalted in the 10th house. So 8th house is not a normal house. It is the house of thinking out of the box, not following what has been followed till now. And this being exalted in the 10th house means that these people will gain authority, they will gain position and autonomy only when they think out of the box. 8th lord exaltation. Mars is also the natural first house lord, and it being exalted in the 10th house, it means that the person's lineage is very important in deciding his profession. It may so happen that the person's father is a judge, so that's why he wants to become a judge. His family has doctors, so he wants to become a doctor. His family will decide what profession he will choose. Lagna Lord and 10th house. Mars exaltation also gives him the negative qualities of Mars. Like he's very harsh. He doesn't think about the others while speaking. Very impolite and ruthless. He will not consider others' opinion. The positive qualities are they are very tactful, determined, confident. and sometimes that confidence results into a lot of pushy nature from them. They are tormented by thirst because Mars is the Agni, and with that high Agni, they feel like having water. Jupiter is debilitated in the Lagna. What does it mean? Jupiter is the Sattvic planet. These people are full of tamas. Saturn and Mars, they both are tamasic. So Sattvic planet like Jupiter gets debilitated over there. And this dictum you should remember: the amount of happiness that you have is equal to how much sattva you have, how much sattvic energy you have. Because happiness comes from the sattvic nature of the person. So, the debilitation of Jupiter makes them very melancholic. They are prone to depression. The sadness will prevail in their mind. Jupiter is also about clear thinking and decisions. They will not be able to make right decisions. Like, they have a problem in making decisions. It also gives them the feeling of suspicion continuously that something is wrong. Also, other person may be doing some playing some game. That kind of suspicion will be there in the mind because of lack of sattvic nature. Now let's look at the exaltation of all other house lords. Okay, so Mars is exalted in the Lagna. That basically makes them happy. Okay, why happy? Because Mars is the fourth house lord, lord of giving comfort, lord of giving sukh. Exalted in the Lagna, that means the happiness will come from there. They will have the things that make them comfortable. All those things will be there, present. Sun is exalted in the fourth house. Sun is the lord of eighth house and exalted in the fourth house. Sun is debilitated in the 10th house. So, Leo sign in the Kundali represents the hills, and Sun is the lord of the hills. So, if Sun is exalted in the fourth house of comfort of your heart, that means that whenever he goes to hills, he feels very comfortable. He is comfortable in going to hills. He doesn't believe in backbiting. He's not a talebearer. Eighth house is for the Nij dosha, the person's darkness, the inner recess of his mind is ruled by eighth house. And Sun being lord of that, Sun is the lord of light. So you can say that all these bad qualities will not be there in him. He will not be a backbiter. Sun is the Sattvic planet and he is exalted in the fourth house. That means that he won't be he won't be a talebearer. Like behind the back, he will not talk about. He will not be critical. Eighth lord is debilitated in the 10th house. Eighth house is for longevity, for health, and 10th house is for the work, where Saturn is exalted. The Lagna lord is exalted. That means he is going after the action, so much so that his own health is getting debilitated. His health will take a toll if he does lot of work. And Sun being exalted in the fourth house would mean that if he goes to comfort, if he does some relaxation, or he does some enjoyment, then basically he will gain back the health. So, lot of work, loss of wealth, loss of health. And when he goes through some kind of comfort or relaxation, he will gain back that health. Jupiter exalted in the seventh house. Jupiter is the lord of third house and the 12th house. He is exalted in the seventh house and he is debilitated in the Lagna. So, first of all, the 12th lord debilitated in the Lagna would mean that he'll be spending too much. He'll be very troubled with the saving because Jupiter is for the Karaka of wealth and he's debilitated. Now he is the lord of 12th house also. So, there would be inconsiderate spending, and he'll find it very difficult to manage that spending. Third lord debilitated in the Lagna. Third lord is for the strength, for the action, for your enterprise. He is debilitated in the Lagna. The person will lack the strength. He will not be having the strength to go out and do things. Third house is also for the sexual union, for the sexual act. And this being debilitated in the Lagna, it will spoil the Karaka of Jupiter. Jupiter is the Karaka of wisdom. So having too much of third house activity would basically bring down his wisdom. 12th Lord exalted in the 7th house means he'll get success in the foreign country. Whenever the 12th Lord is activated, 7th house, boom. That's where the Jupiter is exalted. And that's where the success will come from. Third Lord exalted in the 7th house, his desire is always to have sexuality, sexual union. Third house. Then the moon. Moon is the lord of 7th house and he is exalted in the 5th house. 5th house of kids. He is debilitated in the 11th house. 11th house of source of income, of gains. 7th house, lord. 7th house is for spouse. So because of spouse, he may have loss of income. Or even you can say that too much indulgence in 7th house activities. 7th house is for relations. If he indulges into multiple partners, multiple relationships, it will cause the loss of income. You will have many kids because 5th house is exalted, 7th lord is exalted in the 5th house. And 5th house is also for what's on your mind, what is motivating you. So your partner, your relations, your business, this is motivating you. Venus is the lord of 5th and 10th house and he is exalted in the 3rd house. First of all, 3rd house has lot of Saumya influence. It is the lord, is it house of Jupiter. It is where Venus is exalted. It is where Mercury is debilitated. All are Saumyas. A lot of Saumya influence on 3rd house makes the person timid. So he is very timid because of this. But now you'll say that earlier slide you said like he'll be very fierce, he'll be very fearless. That comes from Mars. Mars is exalted in the Lagna. That's why the Martian quality they have. But 3rd house is for initiatives. They will not go there on their own and fight. But if they are made to fight, they will fight like a Mars. That's the difference. If 3rd house is malefic, then the person himself will go there. He'll go there and fight. They're liked by the opposite sex. Venus is exalted in the 3rd house. 3rd house is the opposite sex. 3rd house is the spouse. So they are very much liked by the opposites and they are very much liked by their spouse. Weakness of mind. Venus is debilitated in the 9th house. Venus is the 5th house lord. 5th house is for the mind and it is getting debilitated in the 9th house. That means there is some weakness related to 9th house in the person. 9th house is for the elder, for your father, for your guru. When it comes to maintaining for them, maintaining for their father, guru or elders, they will feel very debilitated suddenly. Action and passion on the mind, because the 5th lord is exalted in the 3rd house. So they have action because the Venus is also the 10th house lord. He is the 10th lord. 5th house is for the mind and they are there in the 3rd house exalted. So the action and the passion, that's what there in the mind. 5th house not attached to 9th house. Like it is very easy for these people to persuade and change their religion because The fifth house lord, 10th house lord, they are debilitated in the ninth house of dharma, their own religion. It is very easy for them to move away. Their mind is not at all on the religion. They can easily switch. Mercury exalted in the ninth house and debilitated in the third house. So Mercury is debilitated in the third house. So Mercury is the ninth house lord, who is the lord of fortune. Okay, so these people will be fortunate because Mercury is giving them fortune. They have the knowledge of Shastras, Vedas, sciences, fine arts, music, because Mercury rules over all this knowledge. Father and Guru plays an important role in the fortune of these people, but they don't acknowledge it much. They don't acknowledge it because in this house their mind is debilitated. They can never acknowledge the importance, how much their father has done, how much their guru has done, what their dharma has done, what their religion has done. They will never acknowledge it. Too much indulgence in third house will result into downfall of the ninth house, because it is the third house where ninth lord is getting debilitated. So if they get too much involved in the third house, what is the third house? Of sexual union. Then their ninth house is going to be affected. Their fortune will fall crumbling. Now let us look at all the results. Just by Capricorn being the first house, Aquarius becomes the second house. And Aquarius being the second house, what all results we can expect? First of all, these people can gain wealth from trade of flowers and fruits. Second house is for the wealth. Second house has two lords here, Saturn and Rahu. Saturn is exalted in the house of Venus. Rahu is exalted in the house of Venus, in the Taurus. Rahu is also exalted in the house of Gemini. Saturn being exalted in the house of Libra makes them like go towards the trading, and Venus rules over the flower and fruits. So their wealth is coming from the trade of flowers and fruits, gained from influential as well as normal people. In the chart, the influential people are seen from the 10th house, because 10th house is the house of kings, of the people in authority. Normal people, they are seen from the 6th house. Now 6th and 10th, both lords, they are friendly towards him. That's why they gain from both of them. Charitable and philanthropic. For these people, Pisces happens to be the third house of initiatives. And Pisces happens to be the sign of charity and philanthropy. It is the 12th house where you donate everything for the mankind. That is in the house of initiatives, in the Sahaj Bhav. That makes them very charitable, very philanthropic. They look after the sadhus. You can say that since the ninth lord is exalted in the ninth house. So basically, if their dharma is good, if Jupiter is well placed, then they will basically look after sadhus, devatas, their atithis. They speak less because Kumbha, Aquarius is a barren sign. So the person doesn't speak much. Third house is Pisces. Third house is Pisces, where the fifth lord is exalted. Fifth lord, Venus, is exalted in the third house. So basically, their kids will be very wealthy. Okay, they are hospitable towards their guests, and they are dear to everyone because of third house being the Pisces. Third house is for enterprise and initiatives, and Pisces is very sattvic house. Okay, Pisces is the last house of the Kundali of the Kal Purush Kundali, which means giving up, donating, philanthropy. So that's where they become dear to everyone. Fourth house, Aries. Now, Aries is for chatushpad animals like goat, sheep, etc. They get comfort from these animals. That means maybe they have a lot of such animals and they can, it sort of acts like a luxury during old times. Two women, like I could not find any reasonable answer to why two women for Aries in the fourth house. Basically, what it means is that the person may have multiple relations, various kinds of luxury items. So, it is the exaltation sign of Sun, and Sun basically would mean all the royal things which can give him luxury and comfort. Abundant fruit, food, and drinks. Again, the royal things will come for the place of comfort. Wealth through self effort. Wealth through self effort comes because the Lord of Aries, Mars, is exalted in the Lagna. And Mars also happens to be the 11th Lord of gains. And gain will only come from the self effort because it is exalted in the house of self, which is the Lagna. Massage and spa, because they have a lot of air in the body. To balance that air, they require regular spa and massage treatment. Physical exercise. Again, Mars is physically very strong, so these people tend to go to the, like, perform the physical exercises that energizes them. Fifth house, Taurus. Fifth house is the blessings house where seventh lord moon is exalted. That means they will have a fortunate wife. That means when the wife comes in their life, their fortune will, their purva punya, their blessings will fructify. Their wife will be beautiful, devout, splendor. They will be committed towards the native, but there could be problems in the childbirth because the seventh lord is debilitated in the 11th house of fulfillment. So there could be some issues with the fulfillment of this aspect of life. Sixth house, Gemini, ruled by Mercury, and it is also the exaltation sign of Rahu. Sixth house is for what you fight. So basically, you fight, you have a discord with the sinful people, Rahu. Gemini is the sign of sexual union. So there could be some discord related to the sexual union. Even though I've written women, it means treat it like a gender neutral. Okay, treat it for according to your gender. Seventh house, Cancer, of the wife, of spouse. They have many relations. The spouse is beautiful, talented, soft natured. Again, all the qualities of moon is coming here. It's a soft natured Saumya planet. They are pure hearted. They basically follow the Saturn because Saturn is like some old person and moon is like a kid. Okay, so they follow all the instructions of Saturn, of their spouse. Eighth house is how you die. Eighth house comes in Leo for these people. Leo is lion, the wild animals, the meat eating animals, Narbhakshi, the man eaters. They can get attack from wild animals. There could be death due to snake bite, again a wild creature. Thieves could also attack them, maybe because Leo rules over the hills, and in old times the thieves used to hide in those caves. So thieves could also attack them. Ninth house, Virgo. This is where their fifth lord, 10th lord is getting debilitated. So they basically completely lack the faith in their own dharma. The doubt comes to their mind about religion because this house is the Mool Trikona of Rahu. Rahu who gives doubt. So they are doubtful about their own religion. They are the followers of different ideological path than they are born in. Indulge in observance of Stri Dharma. Saturn is a neuter. He is basically neither male nor female. Ninth house, Mercury, is also neither male nor female. So basically, some sort of gender fluidity you will see, you may observe in these people. If Saturn, Mercury, they have certain combination, or they are weakly placed with Rahu, then there could be some issues related to gender fluidity. 10th house of Libra. 10th house is for what they do, and Libra is for trading. Libra is the sign of trading. So they are very good. They may engage in large scale businesses or trades. 10th house is also for power, and their whole intention is to gain power. So they may be very good in doing the politics. 11th house is ruled by Scorpio. How do 11th house is for fulfillment? It means how you achieve your goals. What gives you fulfillment? It is ruled by Mars and Ketu. Ketu is the ruler of deception. Ketu gives the Maya Jal. He's like a smoke, and behind the smoke, you can turn things around. In the same way, you'll fulfill your objectives through deception, by swindling, by doing some magic trickery. It could also be for some sinful activities because 11th house is actually in the Kalpurush, it is the natural 8th house of sins. Backbiting and criticizing others. If Mars and Ketu, they are not well placed, then basically you may resort to backbiting also. 12th house. 12th house is for Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is basically where you spend. Okay, you spend on deceiving others. Why? Because it is the house where Ketu is exalted. So you may like to deceive others, and for that you will spend. You also like to show off in the company of vicious people because Jupiter is debilitated. The Lord of spending is debilitated in the Lagna. That gives you a show off kind of thing. Looking after people of own community. That basically comes from the Saturn being the Lord of second house of Aquarius. That they basically they look after the people of their own community. Okay. I think that's where we complete everything. Thank you so much. Om Namo Narayana.